have lots of questions actually, but I probably maximum of 30 minutes. Can I have maximum, just maximum, sir?
Just proceed. If the questions are
Thank you.
on point, I will let you proceed because that's what the agreement anyway. You have 10 minutes, but I'm not going to hold you to 10 minutes. If there case, if you said you were going to go to a speaking engagement, so go ahead.
Yes, sir. First of all, I laud and appreciate the very insightful line of questioning of our colleague, Senator Onasan, and even the very insightful responses also given by Police Superintendent Eric Noble, because there are other ways to
That's
really,
verbal judo.
to really neutralize suspects, because killing is definitely the last resort. I think that's understood by everyone. Tungkol muna po doon sa the number of casualties on the part of the PNP, and it was confirmed, and because that was also reported in media, that the number of operations conducted are 29,274 as of today, as of 6 o'clock today, from July 1, dun po sa Operation Double Barrel. And then, doon naman po sa mga namamatay, yung killed na drug personalities, 1,573 in the course of the police operations. And the casualties on the part of the law enforcers, 13. So kinonfirm niyo po yun kanina, 13. Although gusto ko lang hong palalahanan sa inyo, na report po ito ng media, na ang sabi po ng ating Pangulo ay every day may police na namamatay sa police operations. Hindi ko po minamaliit yung figure na 13 because one dead is one too many. So whether these are policemen, whether these are suspects, drug personalities, one dead is one too many. Pero kung babatayan ho natin sa mga naging pronouncement ng Pangulo, araw-araw daw po may police na mamatay dyan sa anti-drug operations. Apparently, that is not an accurate statement dahil 13 nga po yung casualties sa hanay po ninyo. Now, having said that, pansin ko po na actually may dalawa po kayong set of police operations. Yung isa, yung pinaka parang general police operations nyo, applicable to all kinds of PNP operations, the revised PNP operational procedures, and the version that I have is December 2013. Now, meron din pong separate kayong police operations for revised PNP manual on anti-illegal drugs operations and investigation, dated September 2014. So I would assume that dito po sa mga operasyon ninyo, double barrel operation, Tokhang, ang pinaka-applicable po itong isa. Would you confirm? Anybody from the PNP can answer that. Would you confirm that? Ito po ang nag-govern dyan sa mga anti-drug operations ninyo. Di ho ba? Totoo po yun? And
Please answer if that's correct. Do you agree with the questions? Maybe you should shorten the question para maintindihan. Di ata naintindihan maigi.
dyan ho ba sa mga ongoing anti-drug operations ninyo, katulad ng double barrel, yung Tokhang, ito po bang manual na ito, the revised PNP manual on anti-illegal drugs operations and investigation, dated September 2014, ito ho ba ang sinusunod ng mga anti-illegal drugs unit? O hindi po?
Opo, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ito po yon. At nakasabi po dito na under 2.22, no PNP personnel shall be allowed to conduct a planned anti-illegal drugs operation unless he is a member of an anti-illegal drugs unit. Is this the prevailing rule? Anybody again can answer, yes or no. No PNP personnel shall be allowed to conduct a planned anti-illegal drugs operation unless he is a member of an anti-illegal drugs unit. Totoo po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Everybody would agree here?
No, take note of the word plant, di ba? Hindi sabihin project.
Plant.
Plant, yeah.
Ito pong
Yes, Your
mga
Honor.
operations ninyo, yung double barrel, tokhang, na per the figures that I mentioned, ilan na ho ba yun? Kasi iba-iba tong ay how many drug operations again? 29,274 as of October 13. Ngayon, kanina pong umaga, 6 o'clock. As of 6 o'clock today, 29,000 plus drug operations. Lahat ho ba yan under double barrel or under tokhang? Kasi ang susunod ko po, kung lahat po yon, so lahat po ba ng mga anti-drug operations na ngayon, which result in so many deaths, ang nagsasagawa ho ba niyan ay lahat anti-illegal drugs unit? Sino po pwedeng sumagot?
Sa akin, ma'am, generally yes, pero may mga huli tayo sa drugs na nakukuha sa checkpoint. So, 'di ba? Parang nagche-checkpoint tapos nakita na
Pag ganun ho ba, kasama ho ba yon sa double barrel o sa tokhang?
pasok na
Opo.
sinasama na
I want to
namin,
understand po, hindi ko po kabisado masyado yan. So, kasama ho ba yan? Pag mga ganung pagkakataon, for example, sa checkpoint, that still can be considered as under tokhang or double
Yes.
barrel.
Yes, ma'am.
Although
Under the
siguro
mother
naman,
plan.
great majority of the 29,000 plus drug operations are actually under double barrel
Yes,
or tokhang. Di ho ba?
Opo.
So ang susunod na tanong, itong mga anti-illegal drugs unit, tama po ba yan? Na ang inyong mga anti-illegal drugs unit, itong AIDSOF, RAIDSOF, SOTG, DAID, SOTG, meron ho kayong mga acronyms dito. I wanted to ask this question because I really want to know that ganun ho, na ganito talaga, ang talagang undertake ng mga double barrel at tokhang operations na yan ay talagang mga anti-illegal drugs unit lamang. Dahil nga po, siguro naman may ilan-ilan sa atin nakabasa ng isang article ng Guardian, a London-based newspaper. You know, allegedly, the reporter has interviewed an unnamed anonymous police official who admitted or who claimed, I'm just citing that report, na meron daw ho yung tinatawag na mga secret police units or secret police death squads. Ano po bang masasabi ninyo dyan? Kasi kung may ganong claim,
Wala po yun,
na
ma'am.
secret police unit or secret police death squad,
Yes.
then ibig sabihin, hindi sinusunod itong nakalagay dito sa guidelines na dapat miyembro lamang ng mga anti-illegal drugs unit dapat ang nag-undertake ng mga operasyon na yan. Di ho ba?
Yes, ma'am. Pero ma'am, as far as Cebu is concerned, wala po yung secret unit.
You are talking about Cebu.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask who is the highest ranking PNP official here so that we can just have a general discussion and not specific places?
Meron po ba
With
sa
the
mga
highest
kapulisan na
ranking.
nandito na magsasabi na meron death unit o special unit na pumapatay? Tama ba yan, Senator De Lima?
Yes, based on the report.
Meron po ba? Tumayo lang po at taas ang kamay, sabihin sa akin kung sino yung nakakaalam. Meron po ba?
There's none, sir. Your Honor.
There is none.
None, sir. Mr. Chairman.
That's from General Chief Superintendent Albayado. I'm sorry. Hirap ng pangalan niya. Okay, go ahead.
And talking about specifics, I just need to raise this. It's actually a Caloocan case. A Caloocan case. Isa po dapat o ilan ho dapat dun sa mga magte-testify sa CHR, among the CHR witnesses, ay mga magulang ng mga napatay sa isang insidente dated Nung nangyari po, July 30. Hindi ko po alam if the Caloocan Police has a record of the incident involving Damian and Leia Hervoso. I'm sorry. Jonathan and Jervy Hervoso. Tatlo po silang mga magkakaibigan, childhood friends. At nung July 30 daw po, midnight of July 30, nakatayo sila in front of a store waiting for another friend. 3 motorbikes carrying 2 riders each pulled up to the victims and showered them with bullets. Tatlo po sila, magkakaibigan. Ang namatay po were Jonathan and Jervy. They died on the spot, while the other one, their friend Dexter, managed to avoid some of the bullets. One rider alighted and shot Dexter a few more times before rejoining his crew. They all sped off immediately. Dexter survived and was later brought to the hospital for treatment. When the police arrived, sabi po ng mga testigo, dyan sa case na yan na hinahandle din ng CHR, the police officer in charge declared that the same was allegedly committed by the Caloocan Death Squad. Kasama po yan sa testimony, sa affidavit ng mga testigo dyan sa kaso na yan involving the killing of Jonathan and Jervy Hervoso. So mas maganda po sana kung marinig natin yung mga testigo na yon. Because syempre ayaw naman natin maniwala dyan sa report na yan. At tinatanggi nyo naman po yan, mga kapulisan, na merong so-called police death squad. So, I just want to ask muna the chief of police of the head of the police in Caloocan, kung nasa record niyo ba itong kaso na ito? Jonathan and Jervy Hervoso, Jervoso. Nangyari ho midnight of July 30, 2016.
Secretary Lai.
Yes po.
With your permission, I ask permission from the chairman.
Sure po.
I was just going to ask for clarification. Kanino po bang terminology yung death squad? This is a recurring terminology. Is it media generated? Kuminsan ho kasi, ma'am, no, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Nagiging biktima tayo nung kinakahon tayo dun sa terminology. So, I was going to ask, Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence,
Yes.
Senator Lai.
Go ahead, Senator.
Kanino pong terminology itong death squad? May Davao death squad, may Bulacan death squad, may Caloocan death squad. Saan nang galing itong terminology yung death squad? Para we can put everything in
Yun na nga
perspective.
po ang gusto nating linawin. No? Insofar as the Davao Death Squad, through the years, yun po ang na-develop. Yes, media is partly, if not primarily, responsible for that. But the Davao Death Squad has been really often oft-repeated, even in the reports of, for example, the UN Special Rapporteur, Philip Alston, the report of Human Rights Watch, and then the report of the CHR. They also refer to that as the Davao Death Squad. Through the years, parang naging, whether it's an urban legend or whether it's a rumor, and then whether these are facts, but yun na po ang terminology na paulit-ulit na nasasabi. Kaya I'm really alarmed. I'm disturbed by the fact that in the current spate of extrajudicial killings, meron na rin hong mga tinatawag na iba-ibang death squad, like the Caloocan death squad. Because if we are to believe the witness or witnesses in this case involving itong magkakaibigan na ito, Jonathan and Jervy Hervoso, meron pong claim na nung dumating daw po yung police, the police officer in charge, I don't know if we have the name of the police officer in charge, I don't know if that was identified by that particular witness, declared that the same was allegedly committed. So I'm just saying allegedly committed, I'm not sure about this, it's just the claim
Yes, ma'am.
of the witness.
Senator Lai, I'm not really
Opo.
disputing that claim. No? I can understand, let's say, vigilante,
Yes.
that has generic and historical origins na kasama na siguro ho ngayon sa dictionary. I just
Opo.
I just want to clarify para ho, because ngayon, dati ho, vigilante. Ngayon hinahanap natin yung death squad. I just want to make sure that this emanates, no? If there's no legal basis, no, a vocabulary basis, I just want to make sure that we do not lose the focus, no? Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
And in the interest of time, I'm just gonna ask the chief of the Caloocan if you can please check out this case. Ito pong sinabi ko po kanina. It need not be now. Kung pwede ho, i-report nyo sa committee kung talagang merong ganitong insidente involving itong magkakaibigan nga po, last July 30, Jonathan and Jervy Herboso.
Yes, ma'am. We will
Opo.
check on our record.
So
Your
right now, you don't have it. You don't have it.
I am not aware of this incident, ma'am. I will check kung nangyari nga po ito, ma'am.
Okay. And go.
I have already
in line-
noted the names
yes.
of those that were allegedly victimized by
Sa
this
record niyo
incident.
po, ilan nga ho uli sa Caloocan? What is the official figures involving Caloocan? 106, 38.
Go ahead. What is your figure?
Sir,
Superintendent Almasan, what is your figure?
that under inquiry, sir, I have 276.
170.
So mas
DUI,
mataas po.
DUI.
Mas mataas.
276, sir.
270.
6, sir. 276.
270.
276, Your Honor.
276. Ganda ng boses to, pero tapusin nyo lang. 276.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. What about police operations?
Sir, for the operations that Caloocan City had conducted, we had a total of 100 that resulted in the arrest of 600 plus drug
No, I'm
personalities.
talking about police operations which resulted in the death. Yan ang kinuha namin, police operations that resulted in death.
We have a total of 63, Your Honor.
63. So you can see, mataas kayo. Ito, nakalap namin. I asked Secretary de Lima to look at it. Caloocan City, ang kinalap namin 38. Sa inyo,
Mas
63. Ang DUI, unidentified yan, 275. 276, I'm sorry. 276. Alright. So lumalabas talaga mas marami sa Caloocan. I wanted to ask a question later, but I'll let Senator de Lima finish her intervention. Go ahead, please.
May I also confirm this? You either confirm or deny, Police Senior Superintendent Almazan, because may information din po kaming nakakalap na there are also unreported cases. Is that correct? Are there unreported cases of killings in Caloocan or in any other place? In other words, when you give us these figures, this more or less represents the totality of the instances or cases of killings in your respective areas of jurisdiction.
No, ma'am. All incidents are reported, ma'am. Your Honor.
Diyan ho ba sa listahan nyo ngayon, kung meron po kayong listahan, ay may kasama ho ba dyan yung napabalita na barangay chairman mismo napatay rin? 4 daw po na barangay chairman in Caloocan. And either 3 or all of the 4 are allegedly drug-related. Is that correct?
I am only aware of 2 incidents, Your Honor.
And which incidents were these po?
With Barangay Captain Bolo, Your Honor, and I'm not so sure of the name of the other one. The other one was a result of a police operation conducted by the CIDG, Your Honor. And the
Also
other one
anti-drugs.
is death under inquiry.
Also anti-drugs.
The death under inquiry involving the late captain, Barangay Captain Bolo, is under investigation, Your Honor. And
No initial finding yet as to whether or not it's drug related.
there are reports that would lead that it is also a drug-related incident, Your Honor. The death of Barangay Captain
Yan ho ba yung,
Bolo, Your Honor.
yun ho ba yung nakitaan sa CCTV?
Yes, Your Honor. An investigation was already conducted. The PCP commander in charge, who has control over the area where the incident took place, already explained his side. An SITG was formed by the district headquarters, and the handling of the investigation now, Your Honor, is handled by the district investigation division.
But it was caught on CCTV.
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, do you confirm the visuals there, which tend to indicate that at first it was a group of policemen who went to his particular place where he was, and then later, sinundan daw po ang sumunod na pangyayari, nakamotorsiklo na mga naka-civilian at yun ang pumatay sa barangay chairman na yan. Ganun ho ba yung istorya dyan?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the report that was submitted by the PCP commander who has area of that incident, that the late barangay captain was his informant and he visited the barangay captain prior the incident, Your Honor.
And why would it be a drug-related killing?
There were-
when the victim was the barangay chairman. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Bakit ito drug-related killing at itong biktima ay barangay chairman? Again, meron ho kami, isa sa mga kaso po ng CHR ay yung pagpatay din ng isang barangay chairman sa Tuguegarao. But it's drug-related because allegedly the barangay chairman knew a lot about the police operations in Tuguegarao kasi sumasama siya sa mga operations ng mga pursuer buyer operations. So again, this is another case where a barangay chairman is involved, is the victim in Caloocan. So bakit to drug-related yon?
Based on the report that I have read, Your Honor, the late barangay Captain Bolo has involvement in illegal drugs.
Siya po mismo?
It could be his relative,
I mean,
Your
the
Honor.
allegation,
Yes,
the
yes, Your
suspicion.
Honor.
He is allegedly involved in illegal drugs. Iba ho kasi yung information na nakuha ko eh. If you're talking about the same incident, the one covered by CCTV.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yung information po na nakuha ko, allegedly, this barangay chairman submitted a list or the so-called drug list or watch list, whatever you call it, na parang in-exclude yung mga kamag-anak niya na supposedly mga drug pushers then alleged drug pushers, alleged drug users, pero hindi daw po sinama yung mga pangalan ng mga kamag-anak, kaya parang nagalit daw po yung police o kung sino man.
That was the report, Your Honor.
That was the report. So what was your finding?
The SITG now is handled by the district headquarters, Your Honor.
So
We are a
the
part.
investigation is ongoing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Still ongoing.
Yes,
so
Your
you
Honor.
cannot make a conclusion now that it was actually that version.
I cannot make a conclusion, Your Honor.
But what is clear to us is that it was drug-related.
Yes, Your Honor.
Magkaiba lang po yung version nyo, tsaka yung version na binanggit ko po based from my own sources.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, going back to dyan pong nakita na yan, no, naka-civilian. Nakakatanggap din po kami ng mga reports na in some of these operations, ang talaga na mga pumapatay daw po ay yung mga in civilian clothes na mga naka-bonnet. I suppose if the units involved are strictly following your operational guidelines, whether it's the general PNP operational guidelines or the special guidelines for anti-illegal drug operations and investigation, hindi ho ba klaro ho sa mga manual na yan na pag may operations dapat naka-uniforme ang mga operatives?
Senator, before you answer John, Senator Lai, with
Yes,
your permission.
go ahead, sir.
I'm not lawyering for any side. There is an operational security explanation for that. But you can elaborate, ha, Jan? Kaya ho nagsusuot ng bonnet, itinatago yung muka. Dahil when you go against, ako po Senator Lai, gentlemen, I would rather go, when I was in a previous lifetime, no, going against criminals, no, I would rather go against fellow rebels, no, those who have an ideological basis, than go against drug lords. Pag nagsama pa yung drug lord, gambling lord, with their combined resources, they will go after you in a manner that is unimaginable po, Senator Lai. No? They will go after your dog, yung kasambahay nyo, your children. They will not go against you frontally. Pag nakita yung mukha mo sa TV, wearing the standard uniform at balikan ka, there is no known legal or extra-legal defense for that. Senator Lai, I offer this explanation para po we can put this in perspective because
Much appreciated.
there is an operational reason for that. Now, as it relates to death squads or extrajudicial killings, that's what we seek to clarify in this hearing. I just wanted to add that for the record. Salamat
Yes,
po.
thank you for pointing that out, Senator Gringo. Because I know, and you can I think you will confirm that it's in your own operational guidelines, right? That should be in uniform in all kinds of operations. Now, are there exceptions? Now, if there is none, if there are no exceptions, it's about time I think that the PNP should propose, given the point raised by Senator Onasan, because right now we have reports, we do have credible reports that in those operations, the ones undertaking that are actually not in uniform, and in fact may bonnet. So I want to ask, is that officially sanctioned?
Your Honor,
The conduct of these anti-drug operations, double barrel, tokhang, and whatever else, whatever anti-drug operations, is this officially sanctioned? That the units involved, the operatives involved, are doing it not in uniform and worse, with bonnets or masks.
Your Honor, the incident involving Barangay Captain Bolo, it's not an operation conducted by Caloocan Police, Your Honor. It is being investigated who committed the crime, Your Honor.
So it was an operation conducted not by the Caloocan Police. Which unit, therefore, if it's not Caloocan Police?
It is a death under investigation incident, Your Honor. The incident pertaining to Barangay Captain Bolo, Your Honor.
Yes, the one investigating it is CIDG?
No, Your Honor. An SITG was already created and the incident is still being investigated.
But I was actually asking about this, not being in police uniform, because it's in the operational guidelines.
No, I thought, Your Honor, you were relating it as a police operation, the incident of Captain Bolo, Your Honor.
No, I'm asking now in general, because I'm not just asking about the case involving Barangay Chairman Bolo. Dahil nga po, although pareho tayo po nag-agree na that was a drug-related killing, or it appears to be a drug-related killing, but exactly how or why, iba po yung version nyo, iba rin po yung version na nakarating po sa akin. In any case,
Your Honor, the death of Captain Bolo is being investigated. It is included in the list of death under inquiry.
yes.
It is not a legitimate police operation that resulted to his death. It is being investigated, Your Honor. And to answer the question, if...
It was not a legitimate police
No, Your Honor,
operation.
it's not a
That's-
police operation, Your Honor.
That operation which resulted in the death O barangay
It is
chairman?
not an operation, Your Honor. It is a case being investigated by the Caloocan Police, Your Honor. It is a death under inquiry. The suspects are unidentified, Your Honor, and we are still trying to solve the case, Your Honor.
But it's a drug-related killing.
Well, a lot of incidents are drug-related because drug lords are killing their runners. Runners are killing boat runners because some
Yes, there are
officers
also
were.
reports about that.
Yes, Your Honor. So, the case of Barangay Captain Bolo, Your Honor, is under investigation. It is not a police operation, Your Honor.
No, I'm asking, mukhang hindi po tayo nagkakaintindihan. Yung mismong insidente na nakuha pa ho sa CCTV, yung pagpatay kay Barangay
That is
Chairman
what
Abot.
we are trying to investigate, Your Honor.
Yes. It was not a police operation,
Yes, Your Honor.
even if...
Excuse me, yes what? Yes, it is a police operation.
Yes,
no,
it is not a police operation,
Kasi
Your Honor.
mahirap yung sagot mo. The
Even,
answer should be no, it is not
It
a police
was
operation.
perpetrated by unidentified suspects,
It
Your
is
Honor.
not a police operation, should be
Yes,
the
Your
answer.
Honor.
Yes, thank you.
because nga naka-motorcycle po. Is it? Hindi.
No, Your Honor. Hindi po.
Hindi ho ba, correct me if I'm wrong, kasi kwento naman lang po sa akin ito. Hindi ho ba na ascot sa CCTV ay meron munang dumating na parang mobile?
Yes, Your Honor,
Police
because
mobile.
the late captain was an asset of the police officers that visited him prior the incident, Your Honor.
Similar to that Tuguegarao City case that CHR is currently investigating.
Senator Rai,
Opo.
ito,
And-
let me add value to the discussion. No? John, you have to be more specific. I raised this with the chairman, Senator Rai. No? Pag sinabi mong not a police operation, that is already a conclusion. Correct? Oh, now. No, I just push this point. Para you can, di ba? Sabi ko kay chairman, and I hope you can confirm or deny this, no? You only find out that it was or was not a police operation after an after-operation report. When you go into anti-drug operations, di ba, may asset muna kayo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kung minsan, di ba, for operational security, you compartment each other muna. Di ba? Dahil sensitive. Kung minsan, now we are finding out that our ranks are populated by drug peddlers. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yun. So, my point is this, no? John, I would suggest, gentlemen, no, to give value, no, to the committee report, na pag sinabi natin it was not, that's a premature conclusion. That's why you are investigating, di ba? Correct? Tell me if that is disputable. Dahil sa aking pagkaalam, pag sinabi mong conclusion na yun. So what's the point? So hahanap ka ng ibang angulo, di ba? But my humble suggestion is for you to qualify it and be more precise because that will be material, no, for us to find out if this was drug-related, this was politically motivated, vendetta, love triangle. Marami ng possibilities. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Senator Rai, can we hear out
Thank you, sir.
Superintendent Masan?
Yes po. Okay,
Yes,
go,
please.
go ahead. Go ahead.
The case of the late Captain Bolo is still being investigated. It was perpetrated by unidentified perpetrators. Despite even though the video would show that the late captain was visited by a patrol car prior the incident, the officers were already made to explain how come a video footage was shown that they had visited, and the PCP commander admitted that the late barangay captain is his asset and was giving him information regarding drug personalities in the area, Your Honor. So we're still trying to find out who are the real perpetrators of this incident.
Senator Lino, John, let me pursue that point para kumpleto tayo. No? Dahil it's coming from your reports na one partial explanation for these killings under investigation is naglilinis na yung mga kasangkot, hindi ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pinuputol na nila yung mga leads para pag-imbestigan ninyo, kayong matitino, kayong mga reformist, di ba? Putol na. That's one angle, di ba?
It could be, Your Honor.
That's what I'm saying. Kaya, my suggestion is dahan-dahan tayo sa conclusion dahil, let me complete the picture, Senator De Lima, Mr. Chairman. Pagpasok ng current dispensation, hindi naman nadagdagan kagad yung sahod ninyo, di ba? Hindi naman nadagdagan yung tao ninyo. That's why we have this current budget deliberations. At hindi pa tayo nakakasiguro na nalinis na natin yung mga hanay natin. Nung mga talagang, kaya nga may mga third list pa, di ba? You have to factor this in. Because until that happens, we will go through this, lagi namin sinasabi yan ng ating chair, ni Senator De Lima included. Now we will have to go through these painful dark ages where we will make mistakes. Pero pag napasundan na nito, dagdagan yung sahod, dagdagan yung manpower, equipment, our wherewithal, plus the support, legal support, medical support, we have no more reason to make mistakes. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Lai.
Salamat po. Sa balik ko tayo dun sa tinatanong ko, it's in general, not just specifically in relation to Chairman Bolo, kundi yung tungkol nga ho dun sa mga hindi naka-uniforme. I want to understand that because my understanding, my reading of your own guidelines say na dapat naka-uniforme. May maganda hong point na rin si Senator Gringo kanina na baka naman may mga pagkakataon na katulad din nung megaphone ay hindi rin. Yes, I see someone raising his hand. You can probably...
General, go ahead, please.
With the permission of the chairman, sir.
General Roque?
The general rule for the conduct of police operations that they should be in their proper uniform or the prescribed uniform that is appropriate for the operation to be undertaken. But there are instances when the uniform is not advisable. For example, in the conduct of buy-bus operation, it is presumed that our pusur buyer should be in civilian attire. Otherwise, if he is in the prescribed police uniform, then the seller would be already alarmed of the impending buy-bus operation that will be conducted.
Is that found in your manual covering anti-illegal drugs operations and investigation? Yes.
Your Honor, the general rule is provided for in the police operational procedure.
And the exceptions are there also? Including the buy-bus operation as an example of the exception?
The exception is not specifically written in the police operational procedure because it is a requirement on the ground. But the provision under the police operational procedure requires that the attire should be appropriate for the kind of operation that will be undertaken.
Would that exception contemplate men in masks?
No, Your Honor.
So how come there are reported cases on that? I mean, can I ask openly? And of course, we would appreciate honest answer. Have you heard about those cases of killings where the ones responsible allegedly are men in civilian clothes and with masks, but fully armed, heavily armed? Have you heard about those reports, about those cases? Has there been any reported cases in relation to that? Because we receive those information from various sources. So I'm sure the PNP has received similar reports. Can anyone please give us the answer?
In Caloocan, Your Honor, there were reports of incidents that suspects are wearing masks, Your Honor.
So there are reports. And
Yes, Your
therefore, that
Honor.
is part of the investigation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who exactly are these suspects with masks?
Yes, Your Honor. Suspects are wearing masks, Your Honor, in the report.
So I wonder how many other cases are like that.
The point of the gentle lady is that there are incidents where people are being killed by men wearing masks. I think that is a matter of, public knowledge. In Mindanao, that happens, and it has been happening for the last 20 years. So I've been complaining about people riding in tandem and with masks. Now, if the question is leading to a proposal for native legislation, I would appreciate it if there is that point. Because I want to see
Yes.
the point. This is not a trial of the policeman.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, I just want to help push it along because the object, as you know, and you authored that resolution, is to find out whether in the spate of killings, recent, and rash of killing, rampant killing, as you say, there is a rhyme and reason to it that it is either, I suppose the import of that is that it is state-sponsored, in other words, hawak ng bansa, o pangalawa, merong mga death squad at napatunayan na there was an attempt to do that in the case of Matubato, but I still have to find evidence here na talagang meron death squad. Of course, mayroong mga ibang salita yan. Salvaging, death squad, yung mga yan. Alam ng tao na mayroong mga ganyan. Ang importante rito ay testigo. So, kung wala tayong makuha niyan, kahit na mamuti na ang mata natin dito, di natin tayo makakapaglabas na kung sino ang involved. Pero pwede tayo maglagay ng mga bagay-bagay na batas na para mapigilan yung mga bagay na yan. Halimbawa, nakabonet. Bawal ka nakasakay sa motorsiklo na nakabonet. Bawal ang motorsiklong mailiit ang plaka. Dapat malaki ang plaka. Tapos, sagutin natin ng polis ito. Tatanong ko lang para matulungan ko Senator De Lima. Kung may tayong mga checkpoint, nag-declare tayo ng state of lawlessness nung una, binago ng state of emergency, meron tayong suporta mga checkpoint, nadadaanan ko iba, may police checkpoint, may backup pang military, paano nakakalakad dyan sa Caloocan na may bonnet at hindi natin nasasabat? Samantalang ang dami nating CCTV, meron tayong operation center, kung natapat ninyo, nakita nyo, may nakabonet, meron motorsiklo, at alam nyo, dumadaan doon, pwedeng paabangan yan. Bakit wala tayong nahuhuli? May nahuhuli na ba kayo doon sa Caloocan na nakabonet na sumasakay na sa motorsiklo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Meron kayo nahuli?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ilan?
Sir, Your Honor, they are violating traffic violations, Your Honor.
And obviously,
They use this mask, Your
inunin
Honor.
sila hindi lang dahil traffic, ngunit dahil baka ito ay terrorist, baka ito ay mamamatay tao, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
O yun. Napakasimple. May nahuli kayo may
Every
dalang
time
baril.
they would pass by our checkpoints, Your Honor, and they are wearing masks, Your Honor, we make them identify themselves properly.
Dapat tanggalin yung mask, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you have a reason to believe na in this era of emergency, time of emergency and lawlessness, baka meron talagang gagawin na hindi mabuti yan, di ba?
I even wear a mask when I ride my bike, Your Honor.
Well, sabi nga nila, if you want to change your character, change your mask.
No, Your Honor, because it protects me from the pollution, Your Honor.
But do you want that as a police officer? How many policemen have been killed by people wearing masks?
In my
Remember the Sparrow unit of the past?
Yes, Your Honor.
Daming binabaril na police?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're wearing a mask? I mean, I would advise you not to wear a mask when you're riding a motorcycle, especially at night.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
John, you have to help us out here. No?
Yes, Your
Dahil,
Honor.
tulungan naman natin yung ating chairman. Dahil, paggawa namin ng committee report, one point, babalikan ko lang, Mr. Chairman, Senator Lai. What is the definition of death squad? Diba? Bawat dokumento, bawat report. Definition of... Yeah. What is the definition of death squad? Yung mga pilosopo sasabihin, any squad that inflicts death is a death squad. So kasama dyan yung police. Now, on the point, Mr. Chairman, of wearing mask, let me speak for motorcyclists. No? Yung helmet, we were co-authors of the helmet law, if you remember, no? That is not designed to protect you. The helmet, no? Even with new technology, John, you know this. That is designed to make you look good inside your casket. Di ba? Pag sumalpo ka, di ba, sa 10-wheeler,
Bibilisan natin.
ang balik agad yung leg mo. At least buo yung mukha mo. Di, maganda na tingnan sa kabaho mo. Okay, now, let me go to the mask. Yung mask, protection po yun, Mr. Chairman, from wind and dust. So pag may sinita kayo dyan na naka-helmet, pag hubad ng helmet, naka-mask. That's what terrorists and criminals and riding in tandem and special forces operators look like. So I guess, Mr. Chairman, the challenge is in the committee report when we make our recommendation so that pag IRR natin, malinaw at precision, walang room for doubt, walang margin for error. Just consider that dyan para magkatulungan tayo.
Let me make it clear. There's nothing wrong with wearing a mask. But in these times, there's lawlessness and a state of emergency. Pag dumaan sa checkpoint, kakabahan nyo kung may baril yun. Kunin niyo yung plate number para sigurado kayo, dumaan to, nakamask ito. Pero yung sabihin, pagka may natepok na may all points bulletin, nakamotorsiklo, bumaril nakamask, paparahin nyo lahat yung motorsiklo kaya may maskara yun o wala, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama, yun lang. I think that's the thing that I'm trying to search for. How do we prevent these people from... You take a bite out of crime, ang tawag niyan.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I agree. And we know that there are really motorcycle riding hitmen or motorcycle riding assassins in mask. That's why I'm so alarmed and disturbed by certain reports that in some of those operations is actually a group of heavily armed, fully armed men, not in police uniform, but in civilian clothes with masks. That's why I'm asking about that, if you have ever heard about cases like that. So if you don't have the answer now, I perfectly understand.
Well,
And about
excuse me, Senator De Lima, no? Let me help out. Dito sa Mindoro, 2 pulis na opisyal pa, Senator Honasan, ang involved, pumatay. Now, the question is this a rogue killing like that rogue commissioner? Or is this a rogue, nakikita ko lang yung kaibigan ko doon a rogue killer na pulis, napalabas, tiniente, inspector. Yung isa chief of police pa, hepe pa. Nahuli natin yan. Abay ko ako pulis, bay ilis ako eh. Tinanong ko kayo na are your children proud of you? Isang pulis natin pumapatay. Babae pa ata yung pinatay na kapitan, no? So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong proof ngayon na may mga pulis na pumapatay na nakamotorsiklo at nakalagay pa rito, and I quote, nakalagay, Almeranes even wore a mask and a wig. Para doon sa Secretary of Justice, may wig. Kasi pinuna lang ni Secretary De Lima para makabawi naman. Hindi nakakabawi Senator De Lima, makabawi naman. Masyado tayong tense eh. Ayoko maging tense dito eh, no? So, masaya ka na. O, yan, gano'n. Alam mo, pag tumawa ang babae, nakakainlove, di ba? Ayan. So, ang sinasabi ni Senator De Lima, nakamask na, nakawig pa, riding in tandem pa. Aba, anong gagawin natin yan? Dapat mabilis ang aksyon ng pulis sapagkat salot sa bawat pulis na gumagawa ng kabutihan, salot sa bansa na sinasabi tayo may polisiya na pumapatay ng pulis, dapat gawan natin ang paraan yan. But that is for the courts.
Yes.
Ako, ang sasabihin ko, iba gagawin ko dito sa recommendation. Part of that recommendation is yung malalaking plaka ng motorsiklo, na dapat pagka nagmaskara ka, pwede kang parahin. May karapatan dahil nagtatago ka ng maka sa Paris nga yung hijab ba yun? Hijab. Nakita ko kasi kayo na, si General kayo naghihikab Ito, hijab, no? So, ibig sabihin, Ibig sabihin, doon sa Paris, pinagbabawal sa beach. Sa France, no? Nagkakaroon ng kasagudo. Maybe we will have to do something about that. Yun ang sinasabi ni Senator Honasan. Okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And
Bawi ka na, ha?
Thank you po. I don't want to belabor the point about the ones in civilian clothes and the one in mask, but the committee would certainly appreciate it if you can submit any report in relation to that, because my standing question is whether you have received reports about situations like that. I'm not talking about the ones riding in motorcycles, but actually certain groups, which appears to be certain units, not in uniform and in mask, when they operate. So I'm not saying that I believe those reports, but I guess it's going to be the PNP as an institution which needs to validate or verify the truthfulness or the veracity of those reports. Now, Senator Gringo, about the death squad, my staff just reminded me that actually hindi naman po daw ito nagsimula sa atin, especially, during the DDS phenomenon, but it's actually a term that evolved from years of investigation of summary executions and arbitrary taking of life as early as 1982 by the United Nations, particularly by the United Nations Special Rapporteurs on extrajudicial killings and summary executions. So hindi po nanggaling sa atin yon.
Salamat po, Senator Lai, for the continuing education.
Thank you. I was just educated now. Doon po sa Tokhang, sandali na lang po ito kasi late na po ako sa aking speaking engagement.
Papalala na nakita kanina pa. Dahil baka malate ka doon sa speaking engagement mo.
Opo. Salamat po. But sayang po, itong pagkakataon nito, tungkol din ho sa Tokhang. Kasi wala pa ho akong narinig in the course of the previous hearings about somebody clarifying whether the Operation Tokhang is something on paper. Meron ho ba guidelines? Meron ho bang COPLAN? Gusto ko kasing maintindihan exactly yung operations. Can the yes, General?
With the permission of the chair,
Yes.
Your Honor, the PNP has a command memorandum circular. The general topic is the Oplan double barrel. Under this command memorandum circular are the conduct of operations.
Have you submitted a copy of that? Because I asked the committee secretary earlier. Is there? Okay, so the committee secretariat is not yet in possession
We
of a
can
copy
submit that, Your Honor.
of that document. Please subject that. And I will have very successive questions. How do you know who should be subjected to Tokhang? How do you know who should be subjected to Tokhang based on those guidelines that you mentioned?
Your Honor, the targets or the conduct of the Tokhang is being directed by the national headquarters. The different regions and provinces are given certain targets that they will approach and request that they stop, particularly the...
And the information are generated, correct me if I'm wrong, the information is generated predominantly from the ground, meaning barangay officials.
That is one of the source, Your Honor.
One of the sources.
Excuse
There
me,
are
sir.
other sources.
I just want the public to know, a lot of people have been asking, including this representation, bakit yung tinawag Tokhang? Anong ibig sabihin nun? Kakatok.
Hangyo, Your Honor. Tok-tok.
Ha?
Knock and plead, Your Honor.
Knock and plead.
Tokhang is tok-tok in Bisaya, Your Honor.
Tok-tok.
Tokhang and hangyo yung to plead, Your Honor.
Hang is to plead.
Yes, sir. In-abbreviate po yun. Kinombine po yung katok and you plead. Knock and plead, tokhang.
Ano yung Bisayan to plead? Hang.
Hangyo.
Hangyo.
Opo, Your Honor.
Di ba bitayin you?
Sa English po, hang.
Oh, hindi. Bitayin kita. Hang you.
Hangyo, Your Honor, in Bisaya is
Nakatakot siya na.
To us, please.
Ah?
Say please, hangyo.
Okay. Okay, sige. Baka kayo mambibitay.
Hindi
You
po,
can
Your
talk,
Honor.
but not hang you. Okay?
Hindi po kami
So yung
nabibitayan.
listahan po galing sa various sources, including barangay officials, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now, yung listahan pong yan, is that being validated by the PNP before operations are conducted?
Yes, Your Honor, there's a validation procedure before this is distributed or disseminated to the concerned operating units.
And syempre, yung operating units are the anti-drug units because your guidelines say this must be conducted by the anti-drug police units. So paano nyo po kinakascade yon? Kapag nakuha na yung listahan from whatever sources, including barangay officials, at sabi nyo nga po, bina-validate. The validation, is that at a local level or at a national level?
One at the regional level and then another one at the national level, Your Honor.
Regional and national.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not municipal, not city.
There are information also coming from the barangays, the cities, and the municipalities, but these are being validated at the regional level, and then these validated information are also further validated at the national.
How is validation done? If you may share, you can always say that you cannot share it for some reason.
Your Honor, I'm not privy to the actual procedure for the validation, so I may not be able to
But is
answer
that
the
procedure indicated in that memorandum circular? Was that the memorandum circular that you mentioned that you're gonna furnish a committee with a copy?
Not really, Your Honor, because this is already an intelligence matter.
It's an intelligence matter,
Yes,
so
Your
it's
Honor.
not in black and white. But there is, I suppose, a process of validation.
Yes, Your Honor, there is.
And once validated, whether at the regional level or the national level, I would assume that would now be cascaded to the anti-drug unit concerned, which will do or who will undertake the actual operation. Correct?
In the case of the Project Tokhang, the information will be disseminated to the heads of the different units. In the case of the region, it will be through the regional director. For the province, it will be through the provincial director, then city director or the chief of police of the municipalities.
When any concerned unit conducts tokhang, or even in cases of the so-called voluntary surrender, there is a form, right? Nababasa ho natin yan, binabalita po yan. Is there a form that the subjects of that particular operation sign?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that form, please? And is that part of that memorandum circular governing double barrel or Operation Tokhang?
That form is an affidavit, Your Honor.
What kind of an affidavit?
Let me just...
Do you have a copy, a sample copy?
I don't have a sample with me right now, Your Honor.
Can we ask, please, for a copy, a sample
Yes.
copy of that PNP form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because the information that we're getting also, you may confirm or deny that the form supposedly contains some kind of an admission and or undertaking that the subject is either a drug user or a drug pusher, and there is some kind of an undertaking to what?
Your Honor, one of the provisions of the affidavit of undertaking is for the surrenderer to...
So you call them
Stop.
surrenderer.
Yes, Your Honor. To undertake to stop all the activities which violate Republic Act 9165, and that the surrenderer is doing this act not just for himself or herself, but for the family, community, and for the betterment of the country, the people.
So there is an implied admission that the subject, the one signing that particular form, is involved or has been involved in illegal activity violative of the law.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's admitted that there is such a portion. That's why we want to see that particular form. Because the next question is, since it's an admission, don't you think that is in the nature of a confession, extrajudicial confession? And therefore, if we're going to be strict about it, the subject has to be assisted by counsel. Is that being done on the ground?
In the format of the affidavit of undertaking, Your Honor, there is a provision for the assistance of a attorney in the
What
affidavit.
particular provision, what exactly does it say? That the subject has the right to be assisted. And of course, since it's a right, it's actually subject to waiver. But as you know, as you very well know, you are law enforcers, there is also a process or a requirement for a waiver to be valid. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you study law as police chief superintendent?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
agree?
Yes,
So
Your
is that provided for in that particular form?
In the particular form, since these are considered as voluntary surrenderers, what is provided is the portion where there is an indication that the particular surrenderer is being assisted or was assisted by a counsel or attorney.
Is that really being done on the ground? Are there counsels there? Are there POW lawyers there? Are there private counsels there?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are, of course, talking about those who voluntarily surrendered, correct? Not the tokhang. Or both. What are we talking about?
This is for the voluntary surrenderer, Your Honor.
Voluntary surrender. Because there may be really, and I agree with the Senator, that there may be an admission against interest or a confession without aid of counsel, which would lead to all kinds of legal complications, constitutional complications. So, but although that is not within the ambit of the investigation, that is something that I think the police should consider right away.
Yes.
Yes,
And
Your
then the next point in respect to that is, what if the subject or the subjects concerned refuse to sign the form admitting or acknowledging that they are drug pushers, drug users? So what is the effect of that? Are they now going to be considered as high-value targets?
No, Your Honor. As from the phrase voluntary surrenderer, the PNP personnel on the ground do not force the ones coming to the office of the PNP to sign this affidavit of undertaking. If they do not wish to sign the affidavit, then they are not being forced to sign it.
In any case, we do want to see a sample copy of that particular form for our
Senator Lai,
perusal.
We will submit, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, as I cleared with you earlier, no, I was going to raise the issue to pursue the point of Senator De Lima. No? Edwin, Superintendent Roque. Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kanina, itatanong ko sana if you can generate for your committee what constitutes the operational and the administrative. Ngayon, may bago kayong dimension, the legal cost. Dati, I was going to limit it to yung namatay sa police operations at saka yung wounded. Ngayon, meron pa pala, no? And I realized that. Yung mga voluntary na nag-surrender. Is it possible for you? Do you have this in your database? Because I think, Mr. Chairman, one policy issue, Senator Lai, no? One policy issue would be the support requirement for this.
Yes.
We cannot discuss this kasi in a vacuum. Especially when you talk of legal procedure. But when you talk of counsel rights, no? This has to be backed up on the ground tangibly. So, Edwin, no? Subukan lang ninyo, best effort. Generate for your committee, for purposes of your permission, of course, Mr. Chairman, the operational, the admin, and the legal cost of those who surrender, those who die, and those who are wounded. Give you an example. I don't know where you input this cost, no? Nagre-reklamo na raw yung mga punerarya. Who underwrites this cost? That has to be carried, no? I don't know if you incorporated it in your budget. Parang ang parallel po nito, Mr. Chairman, is yung retirees security sector budget. Now, can you give us best effort, Edwin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Para maintindihan ng committee, for policy purposes, and this will be incorporated, I suppose, in the comprehensive report by your committee. Para maintindihan natin, let's say namatay, no?
Namatay yung alin?
Namatay yung kwan.
Sumurrender.
Hindi po. Yung
Okay.
yung in operations, yung patay. Saan dinadala yung bangkay? Pagdala sa punerarya, tapos na ba o may follow-through forensic effort? Pagbuhay at wounded, who underwrites the hospital bills? Mga tao ito, hindi ito presumed innocent. Kahit nasabi mong lumaban, di ba? Yung nag-surrender, ibang usapin na naman yan. Yung rehab. We just want to have a comprehensive view of this.
Yeah.
Para, Mr. Chairman, on the eve of our conclusive budget deliberations, ma-factor in nandito at saka maging proactive tayo. Edwin? Pakilang, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Lai. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
I just have one point. Are you about to finish?
About to finish po.
Sige,
Pwede
go
po.
ahead.
I'm
Just
really
want to-
late already. But the
You've been saying
discussions
that
are
for
very
the last 1
interesting.
hour. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, I also wonder whether there is some kind of a data which can tell us that among those who voluntarily surrendered and refused to execute or sign that supposed form, ilan ho ba sa kanila yung mga napatay? I don't know if you will have that data. Only if you have. Would anybody here have the answer? O kung pwede ho, paki-ano na lang po. Take note of
Tatanungin ko,
that.
I want to make sure that you understand because yan ang tatanungin ko kanina. Bago ko tinanong siya, baka malate na si Senator De Lima. Nagpapasurrender tayo at medyo that's skirting constitutional violation. Nagpapasurrender kayo, pagtapos ang problema ko dyan, pag may namatay at may mga nabasa ako na ito, sumurrender, tapos later on, after 3 days or 1 week, namatay siya. That will put you under more scrutiny. Because kumukuha kayo ng mga admissions at pagkatapos later on, madali nyo sabihin, nagtulak uli, lumaban, nabarel, parang tinutulungan ng tao sa sarili nila na para magkaroon ng mark yung mga taong papatayin o mababarel o paplantahan o ano pa. I mean, this goes into all kinds of a very slippery slope. Why are we exposing our police system to that kind of risk? Because you're laying the predicate for a situation that to many in our country, wala naman siguro yan. Surrender. Buti nga, nagsusurrender kung namamatay naman yung nagsusurrender later on, mapagbibinta nga kayo na pinasurrender nyo yan para ma-mark nyo yan. That's unfair to the rank and file. That's unfair to our country. And woe to those who did that, who planned that, because there is now a legal trail that we can go after just in case yan ay nagiging talagang halatang-halata na. Are you getting my point, Police Superintendent Edwin Roque?
Yes, Your Honor.
Chief Superintendent.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would advise you to follow the lead now and give us a copy of all these forms that you are giving to the surrenderers. And I would hope that in Tokhang you're not doing the same thing. Na may pinapipirma kayo doon. Ano ba ang objective ng Tokhang? Hindi na ba kayo nakakapasok? Tatanungin nyo, Tokhang ho kami. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Papasok, anong hinahanap nyo? Nakatira ba dyan si ganito? May balita ho kami, siya ay nakikita kita, Senior Superintendent Almasan, nagkuhan kayo, nagnanad kayo. Does it mean yes? Na nagtatanong kayo, diyan ba nakatira itong nababalitaan namin drug pusher or drug user?
Yes, Your Honor, we try to account for all the reported drug personalities
So
in
you
a
are really
certain area.
accounting for the possibility na itong mga tao ito ay maaaring drug user. Alam mo kung nasa naroon sila.
Yes, Your Honor, as
In other words,
reported
you're
by
really
the...
asking them to help you arrest them. eventually.
No, Your Honor, we would be pleading for them to stop their illegal drug activity.
That's one way of looking at it, and I'm glad that you are very imaginative. Because halimbawa, papasok ka doon sa loob, sabihin mo, ikaw ba ito, nandiyan ka, alam namin nandiyan ka,
We are not supposed to enter the
I know,
premises, Your
pero
Honor.
nakikita ko sa TV bumabukas, no?
Yes,
I have nothing, because this is what you call creating the necessary diligence para alam natin kung nasa naroon yung mga tao yan. Pero it borders on violation of constitutional rights and the Bill of Rights. And I draw the line there. All right? I mean, the police must do their job within the limits of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. But like I said, there are 2 points that came out of here. Although it's not part of us, it becomes part of this. Kung yung, I would like you to submit therefore, formally, how many people who surrendered are still died by virtue of an altercation with the police. We have to prevent that. We are all due diba? I will tell you again and admonish you, lahat ng police magre-retire. Someday you'll also be civilians. You have families also. And I've seen many policemen. Police naman ako dati. Did you hear the case of that guy here? Las Cunas?
Las Cañas.
Las Cañas? Ano sabi niya? Kapatid ko, pinatay ng pulis eh. Kapatid ko, kapatid ko napatay. Kaya sabi niya, hindi ako close kay Mayor Duterte. Pumasok yung anak ko, hindi rin pinayagan makapasok sa trabaho. Ininsulto pa. So, ganyan rin yan nangyayari dyan. So, I just remind you that may katuturan itong hearings na ito. Maraming pinapasukan na ito na dapat nating ma-realize. So, kindly give us a list of all those who surrendered. All 700,000 plus of them. Pero i-call nyo na yung mga namatay. Yung mga namatay. Because I'm sure you put that in a computer. I'm sure you can go and look at where it does sa mga death certificates para malaman yan. I find this a very healthy exercise of democracy. And woe to those who claim that we are not following the rule of law here. And I'm proud of the policemen here who come here and tell us the facts of life about the policeman. How they can get in trouble, na magkikipit sila, including their personal lives na kinukuha ng asawa nila yung kanilang ATM. Talagang kasama yan sa trabaho. Alright?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Then you make sure that ComSec secure that order.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Can I just, I don't have a question anymore, but because I really need to leave already. But I just want to put on record, although I will be furnishing the committee a copy. There is here a concluding observations from the Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights of the UN, and part of the report says on the policy towards drug users in our country. This is fairly recent, October 2016. The committee is deeply concerned that declarations made by high-ranking officials in the context of the war on drugs may be seen to encourage and legitimize violence against drug users, including extrajudicial killings. Indeed, the number of extrajudicial killings of drug suspects has drastically increased in recent months, and a large number of people have been arrested and detained in already overcrowded prisons. Poor neighborhoods and individuals have been disproportionately affected in this process. So that's just a portion, and the other portion would be the recommendation. The committee, this is the Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, again, of the United Nations. The committee urges the state to stop and prevent extrajudicial killings and any form of violence against drug users, to promptly and thoroughly investigate all reported cases and punish the perpetrators with sanctions commensurate with the gravity of the crime, and to take all necessary measures to ensure that the fight against drug trafficking does not have a discriminatory impact on the poor and marginalized. I'm just quoting a portion from the report, and I will be glad to furnish the copy, a copy of this to the committee. And thank you, Mr. Chair, for this. I really need to leave already, although I still have a few more questions, but I don't have time anymore. Thank you for this opportunity. Maraming salamat po.
You're welcome.
sa
The
mga
chair takes notes
taga-PNP.
of the observations about the UN, but I don't need the UN to tell us that we can follow the rules here in this country. I really am umbraged by it because the UN cannot even enforce rules in terms of international conflict. I just want to ask the Colonel of Metro Manila, Colonel Coronel, in the period January 1, 2016 to the present, how many homicides or how many murders occurred in Metro and Manila in your jurisdiction, if you know?
Mr. Chairman, before Jigs, before you answer, no, para ho comprehensive, Mr. Chairman, yung sagot. No? Who is representing Ding Marquez? Is Ding Marquez here?
Wala.
Represented
By-
supposed to be by Ross Asio?
He's being represented by Police Chief Superintendent Asio, sir.
Nasaan si Ross?
He just went out for the
Okay.
comfort room, sir.
Jigs, ikaw na muna, no? Anyway, Oka, nandito ka naman, no?
May I admonish my good friend General Senator Honasan, you people from the PMA, you keep calling yourselves by your first names. That is confusing the enemy here. I know that you are
my
conducting
apologies.
Sansu talk. You better address them by their family names and by their rank. Thank you,
Mr.
thank you.
Chairman,
Biro lang yan, biro lang yan.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
as a partial explanation, these are terms of endearment.
All right. Are you all right?
Okay. Jigs,
Yes, sir.
pwede ba, no? Dahil we are still on reactive mode. Kung walang issue, doon lang kayo hihinga ng report ng committee. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, can we be more proactive about this? Now,
Yes, sir.
can you look at, lalo na ngayon, no? Nasa bisperas tayo ng budget deliberations.
Yes, sir.
Can you look, Jigs, ha? Everybody, for that matter.
Who is Jigs?
Okay, Jigs is
Please identify yourself.
Yes, sir. Senior Superintendent Coronel, Your Honor.
Napoleon Cornel.
Why did they call you Jigs?
That's my nickname, Your Honor.
I know, but Jigs is what? Jigger? You take
No,
notes,
sir. It's just no, sir. It's just a name given to me when I went.
Okay, Superintendent Cornel,
Yes, sir.
can you look at your information management system?
Yes, Your Honor.
Doon kami hirap na hirap, no? Dahil tuwing hihingi kami ng data, bibigyan kami ng balikbayan box. Okay, we have no way of sorting this out, indexing this, cataloging this. Proactive ito, no? Why? First, mura, cost effective. Second, ang derivative niyan is solid intel. At ang derivative nito, partial derivative, are regular reports. Dapat itong mga tinatanong ng ating chairman, due diligence, no? Sinusubmit na ito sa Committee on Public Order, Committee on Justice. We are left to our own devices. You'll be surprised at the number of important legislation that we have passed based on conflicting information. So at least in the public order, security, and justice sector, can you look at this, Jigs, ha? Yung info
Yes, Your
management
Honor.
system natin,
Yes,
how
Your
far you have gone in terms of computerization, para we can look at this not only from the admin and logistics side, no, personnel management side, but from the perspective of hard intel, current, complete, accurate, timely information that will allow us to discuss and make decisions, rational, intelligent decisions. At ang derivative talaga nito na kailangan ng inyong committee are regular reports that will make all this, can you submit to us this or that, totally unnecessary. Please do that for us. Salamat po.
We will comply, Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Senator Hernasan. Thank you, Greg. Chief Superintendent, Senior ba, Chief?
Senior
Senior.
Superintendent, Your Honor.
Senior Superintendent Coronel. Ang hirap tawagin ng mga pulis na si Chief Senior Superintendent. But anyway, I asked you about the murder rate, or rather the number of homicides in Manila. Do you have it? From January 1, 2016 to the present.
Yes, Your Honor. For January 1 to 2016, murder for the city of Manila
I will ask Quezon City as well to prepare that. Is Quezon City here? Prepare that, please. And Caloocan. And Cebu. City. These are cities.
Yes, Your Honor. Sir, from January 1 to
2016.
present, yes, sir, to October 2016, the murder incidents for the city of Manila is 48, not counting the DUI, Your Honor.
How many?
48 cases.
48.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can we count the DUI?
The DUI, as reported, is 54, Your Honor.
So plus 54.
Yes, Your Honor.
8 plus 4 is 12.
Yes, sir.
That's 102.
102, Your Honor, 102.
And how big is the population of Manila? Your area of responsibility?
Yes, sir. August 15 census is 1,780,000, Your Honor.
1,780,000.
80,000. Yes, Your Honor.
Quezon City, do you have it already? All right. From January to the present, how many homicides, please?
Murder case to 231, sir.
231. There's a point to this, especially after Senator De Lima said something about the UN.
Yes, sir. 231 already includes DUI.
Already includes.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
And the population of Quezon City is
3 million, sir.
3 million.
Around 3 million, sir.
3 million. And Cebu City? Cebu?
For Cebu City, sir, we have 70 murder, homicide 11.
7,
70, sir, murder.
7, I asked for about homicides and murder.
Yes, sir.
Total yun na.
81, sir.
81. Yung ba homicides and murders Manila? All
That's
right.
both for murder
All right.
and homicide, Your Honor.
81. And the population of Cebu City is? The Cebu City or Cebu Province?
Sir, yung province, sir, ako naman sa murder is 194.
194.
Ang homicide is 28.
28. And that includes already DUI and everything.
Yes, sir. Total.
So you have a total in Cebu of 12, 11, 212. The reason I ask that is a matter of point of information, and you can be very proud of this fact, is because in Chicago, January 1, 2016 to the present, there were 579 homicides in a city of 2.8 million. Against Metro Manila, which is a population of 1 million, ilan?
For Manila, sir, is 1,700,000.
700,000.
Yes, sir.
2.8 million, you have a total murder and homicide rate of 102.
Yes, Your Honor. To include the
And Cebu Province, you have a total city of 212. So, I'm only saying this because, I'm putting it in perspective. Here is UN trying to tell us everything, but they don't look at their own backyards. The grass in third world countries is always bleaker when it comes to some of these first world countries. So please tell the president, stop making noise, because we're showing off the other countries in terms of peace and order. So I'm really giving you a compliment that kahit na ano sabihin nyo, kahit na may sinasabi pang ganyan, kahit na mas mataas pa yung rating nyo, yung sa kinalap naming ebidensya rito, mas marami kayong namamatay, lumalabas pa. Sa Chicago, one city in America, they have more murders and homicides. So, but still, that doesn't, I'm only saying that to make you feel good, because I think you should feel good, you're doing a good job, and provided you stay within the law. Because one murder beyond the law is still murder. And especially it becomes worse when it is perpetrated by policemen, like in the case of Mindoro, yung sinabi ni Senator Lacson. And just to let you know, para malaman ng mga Pilipino rin, eto, ang nangyayari dito, ang humuli doon sa Mindoro, pulis rin. Ang pumatay, pulis, pero ang humuli, pulis rin. So, in that instance, I commend the police in many instances. I commend the police in terms of record for record. Before we get swallowed in by the whole world in their righteousness, muna, hindi naman ganun kasama ang record namin. Pero again, with the caveat, thou shalt not kill. You have families, you're about to retire, some of you are about to retire, ganun rin. And what your job is as civilians, as policemen, is to make sure you take a bite out of crime. Hindi makaporma ang mga kriminal. Hindi yung papatayin natin sila. Kaya ang tanong ko kanina doon, saan ba nagagaling ang droga? Isara natin ang gripo. Ang tanong ko doon sa kabila, gano'n rin. Yung mga instances na dapat natin malaman para mapigilan natin at mawasan natin. Dapat marami tayong police-community relations para matuturuan tayo like we did in our own community, barangay anti-narcotics group, sila nasasabi, bago lumaganap ang krimen, bago lumaganap ang drugs, sasawatan na. So that is what I would like to say here, unless my two colleagues have...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I want to correct for the record. No? Kanina kausap kita, Edwin, no? And Ross, I said, nagre-reklamo yung mga punerarya. Somebody texted me, para kumpleto yung database natin. I will not mention the sender. Sabi, hindi po nagre-reklamo yung mga punerarya. Masaya sila. In fact, kumikita pa sila dahil nagbibigay ng komisyon sa pulis. Kung hindi maklaim ang bangkay, binibenta sa medical schools. Pag may nag-claim, kita pa rin sila. Of course, meron dito, hehehe, but I will not put that on record anymore. Para kompleto yung database niyo. Something for you to look at. Ha? So I'm putting that on record, Mr. Chairman.
Fine.
Kaya ako nagtatawanan kami ni Senate Vice Chair Lacson kanina. We wanted to share that joke, but you're
Yeah, I just want to ask one more question. Sinabi ng presidente natin, there are 2 policemen that die every day. Is that correct? Since July. Yes, Colonel Albayalde. Tama na ba yan?
In NCRPO, sir, we have already four killed in action policemen since July 1 to date, sir.
4 killed. So hindi totoo yun, mamatay 2.
I don't know with the other region, sir. And we have 8 wounded.
NCR lang.
Already, yes.
Sa inyong region, Eric Noble, sa inyo? 1 dead, 1 wounded. That's still 1 too many, di ba? Yun ang sinasabi ko eh. Sometimes we tend to throw statistics and numbers. We don't have to. You know, if you're killed in the line of duty, that is very noble. Hindi ba, Superintendent Noble? Noble? I'm sorry. Okay. And of course, sa Bulacan?
Sir, for Bulacan PPO, at present, sir, I have 4 wounded PNP personnel during our legitimate operation. Actually, this morning I have wounded personnel and that needs an operation because he was shot by a suspected drug possessor in Mikawayan, Bulacan just this morning, sir.
They were shot by a convicted drug pusher.
No, sir. Suspected, sir. My policemen...
he was waylaid?
No, sir. Our policemen were supposed to verify a report that there is an ongoing drug transaction, but upon arrival on the area, they were immediately shot by 4 unidentified suspects.
Well, do you think therefore that the president should really tone down? Because naghahanda yung mga drug pusher eh. Paglapitin nyo, babarilin na kayo kagad. Yan ang isang sinasabi ko eh. O mas maganda, siguro, mas maganda, huwag na tayong magsalita para alam naman na ninyo na seryoso talaga, and I believe him. Seryoso ang presidente, di ba? Kaya sumusunod kayo eh. Sinasabi niya, backup niya kayo. Tama yon. Ako, binabackup ko rin yung mga pulis. Pero tama na siguro yun, dahil alam na lahat yan. Para yung mga drug pusher, hindi naman kayo babirilin na nasa likod, babarilin na kayo, aabangan kayo. And that's one of the side effects na sinasabi ko. That's why I think that, at katulad yan, the side effect, bumabanat yung UN sa kanya. Hindi naman dapat banatan na yung mga pronouncements raw ay bumabalik sa kanya. Eh, sabi ko nga, huwag na natin lagariin ang ating sariling paa. I think you guys, kahit paano, the way I'm looking at it, at least from the policemen that we brought in here, looks like you guys are doing your job. The crime rate compared to Chicago and to Manila and to Quezon City, which is bigger than Chicago, is lower in terms of murders and homicides. I think that can be told. I hope I'm not simplifying things. But again, I have to hasten to say, pag may pumapatay na pulis, makakasira sa ating pakay. At nakita naman ninyo, I think the rule of law is also happening here. Kami, alisto kami dyan, yung tokhang, ingatan nyo yan, at saka yung sinagsusurrender sa inyo, dapat hindi mamamatayan, sabagat natural lang pagbintangan kayo pag namatayan, unless talagang encounter. So, I suppose, tama ba yung conclusion na dapat huminahon tayo ng konti at the message has already been made and para siguro na tuloy-tuloy na at yung sinasabi namin ni Senator Honasan kanina na dapat ipapublish talaga at I don't know, nakalimutan natin ni Senator Honasan, I will let him say it. There is a provision that all franchises of public stations, public radio and TV stations, and I will let Senator Honasan say it. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On this score, I address this to all of you, gentlemen. You must inventory the tools at your disposal. One, I discussed it with the chairman and very often with Senator Lacson. Yung NTC required yung broadcast media 30 hours a month. That's 1 hour a day for public information. Baka, Mr. Chairman, ito yung moderating influence. We cannot change we cannot ask the president to reinvent himself. We can only offer unsolicited advice. Pero at your level, one moderating influence would be to harness this 30 hours a month, broadcast, radio and TV, para makapag-announce kayo. Okay, let me relate it to drugs. Yung supply reduction, na ma-manage natin yan. We can look at it more systematically. Yung demand reduction, babalik at babalik tayo rin sa public information system. Baka pwede niyong i-explore yun. Para kahit na passionate yung ating Pangulo, dun sa baba, meron kayong seryoso na public information program para nalalaman ng kabataan, ng bawat pamilya. You know, this problem has already entered our homes, our schools, our places of work, our places of worship. Talagang malala na. We never thought it was this bad. The question is not, what did you do or not do? The question is, did we do enough? Kaya, just consider this, gentlemen, para you can consolidate our efforts here. Thank you.
Okay, the statements made by the chair as admonitions because we want a better country, and I know the president wants a better country. But we are not going to be silently by kung merong mga katiwalian na gaganap, whoever does it. And let me assure everyone here, I would like to entertain a motion here if you want to wrap up the... I think we have enough to report. Senator Lacson, what do you think?
Yes, I move to terminate the hearings on EJK so we can already render a committee report on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Second, but I would like to have a caveat here. Our friend, the chairman of the Commission on Human Rights, has been staying here kanina pa, and I'd like to recognize him I'm not going to ask him to apologize for his commission because he's not the one who said it. But I just want to assure you, Mr. Chairman, that all the affidavits you submitted here, we will turn over to the police for proper enforcement, and that we will make sure that as part of our report, lalabas yan. We did not ignore anybody here. It's just, I'm just so sorry that that guy is a loose cannon of sorts. And go ahead, if you may want to make a statement now under more harmonious conditions, you can do so. I just didn't like the idea that some representation was trying to bamboozle us by forcing us to recognize a travesty, not to recognize a travesty upon the Senate. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honors, the Honorable Chairman and members of the two committees. We are grateful for this opportunity to address you this afternoon. we do wish to express that the Commission on Human Rights is always ready and prepared to assist the Senate committees in the great work it's doing of ferreting out the truth on this issue, on extrajudicial killings, as well as on all other issues involving human rights. We as a Commission on Human Rights acknowledge and work closely with the Senate in previous times, at the present, and in the future on all matters that will involve the best interest of our people in the area of human rights. We do want to say that we respect the Honorable Chairman of the committee, Senator Dick Gordon, as well as all the other members of this committee, and are confident that as this process is terminating, it will shed light on this matter, even as we continue to pursue truth and justice in other fora. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. We were not looking for a pat in the back, but thanks anyway. We just want you to know that we're going to be fair. We are stalwarts in our efforts to try and provide human rights. Not provide because that is guaranteed, but to make sure that human rights is enforced. And I hope the policemen are all listening to the words of the Senate here, the message that we're trying to bring in here, that especially the law enforcement authorities, you have been imbued with certain privileges such as carrying a firearm, enforcing the law, which is a great privilege of trust. And therefore, with that privilege comes the responsibility that you must acquit yourselves before this country and your families, that you will implement it, in the proper way, in a way that respects life, the preciousness of life, and the effectivity of law without fear or favor. And that is all that is expected. And this is something that I think we all should really try and make an effort on, to try and not just show the whole world, but show ourselves, show our children that we are capable of running a democracy that where when we see wrong, we will try to right it. And we will not be fearful to say the things that we have to say, no matter who we say it against, because in democracy, there's democratic space to talk about it, to talk about the problems and solve problems. Sa wikang Pilipino po, para maintindihan ng lahat na nakikinig, narinig po natin ang magiting na Chairman ng Commission on Human Rights, hindi ho dahil siya ay kasama namin sa pamantasan ng Pilipinas, ngunit lahat ho kami naiintindihan namin ang katungkulan natin bilang mga halal o talagang mga kawani ng gobyerno, pati yung mga kapulisan dito. At ang commitment po natin dito, sagrado na talagang maipairal yung talagang karampatan pantao, yung respeto sa tao, yung dignidad ng tao, at kinokondena natin ang pagpatay ng tao na hindi talaga mapapaliwanagan ng maayos at lahat. Gusto ko lang pong paabot ang aking lubos na pasasalamat sa mga kapulisan. Nakita po natin dito na dumating lahat dito. Pinatawag po natin lahat ang mga pulis dito ng iba't ibang distrito ng ating bayan. At ito is advice ng ating mga kasama dito sa committee ng public order at saka ng justice at saka ng human rights. At dumalo silang lahat dito, nangangulugan, walang tinatago at sumagot sila sa lahat ng tanong. At hihilingin ko pa, isang hirit pa ho, ibigay nyo sa amin yung statistics niyo, sapagkat basahin na po kayo katulad ng sinabi ni Commissioner ni Chairman Honasan, Chairman ng Committee on National Defense, na dapat ayusin nyo yung impormasyon. We are living in an information revolution. Tapos na yung revolution, umihirap pa na mas mataas ngayon. Dapat nakukuha natin lahat ang statistika ng mga namamatay, ng mga nanakawan at lahat para handa tayo sumagot kaagad sa katungunan. The Chair would like to pay particular attention to some of the interventions here by some police officers, particularly the one in Metro Manila, and practically all, Bulacan, Quezon City. That really represents a high degree of professionalism na walang patumpik-tumpik sumasagot sa mga tinatanong natin at meron kayong handang statistics. The very fact na mataas pa nga ang lumalabas sa inyo kaysa nakalap ng mga staff ko sa committee, at papasalamatan ko rin yung miyembro ko sa committee, yung mga tao namin sa committee at yung mga tumutulong sa akin na nakakalap, nagpapatunay na walang tinatago tayo, makukuha natin ang mga statistika ng patayan at lahat, at ang mangyayari na lang ngayon ay humanap tayo ng mga solusyon para matanggalin natin ang pagkakataon na pag-abuso ng mga kriminal sa ating mga batas, whether they're in uniform or in not. Pare-pareho yan. Pagka gumawa kayo ng kamalian, you are a criminal. You violate the law, violate the rights of the people. So having said all that, Mr. Chairman Lacson and Senator Nasan and all the police chiefs present here, the NBI, Director General of the PIDEA, representatives of the Committee on Justice, the NBI are here. It's been a roller coaster ride, but I assure you, we are going to come out with a report. And take heed of that report, because we all have to learn something from it. And it will be a sustainable report. Because I can tell you, part of it will mean we get reports, at least whoever succeeds me in this committee or in the House, we must now get copies of the reports of murders and homicides regularly, and it can be published as suggested by Senator Honasan in the 1 hour a day program allotted to public service by all media. At we will also strengthen the capability of the police force and find out, as Senator Honasan rightly said, it is budget time. Perhaps we can provide at least the beginnings of body cameras to be worn by special units of the police force when they operate. Or for that matter, other suggestions that are going to be made and will be made during the discussions. And hopefully, I will really try to get it done by Monday, that you'll have a report right away on Monday, so that the public will be assuaged that we are all watching for each other here. May not be perfect, but we will try. So, ladies and gentlemen, maraming salamat po, Senator Manas.
I would just like to clarify my motion earlier, Mr. Chairman. My motion covers only the hearings on the resolution of Senator De Lima and Senator Trillanes on the EJK killings.
Yes.
But I move to suspend the hearings on the death penalty bills as referred to the Committee on Justice.
Definitely. That is the motion was clear to me, and I know that the clarification is aptly made. We're not suspending the provision. In part, like I said earlier, I may be against the death penalty, but kung ito ay makakapagpatigil ng patayan na ginaganap ng mga iba dyan para madali sila sa pamaraan ng paggogobyerno, I am not going to go against it. I will not vote for it, but I will not go against it. Somebody will have to do it for them. But anyway, hindi titigil yan. Tutuloy natin yan sa Committee on the Death Penalty. Although that has been referred also to the Committee of Senator Dillon. The referral to us was death penalty due to drug offenses. So, having said that caveat, maybe we can even ask Senator Dillon, the chairman of the Committee on Rules, to join us for the discussions on the death penalty. I hope we were able to tackle sufficiently the issues. Like I said, ang pinag-uusapan dito ay in aid of legislation, and the Commission on Human Rights, particularly the chairman, can make suggestions. We will consider it formally in writing if you like, and the police can do so. Try to do it as soon as possible. I will entertain a motion to suspend release of the report if you have, allow me that if it is humanly impossible to come out with the entire report for a few days extension, just to be sure. But my intention is to try and get it out by Monday. So, maraming salamat sa inyo, and sa inyong malasakit, sa inyong mga kagitingan, at sana patuloy nyo linisin ang ating kapulisan. Merong ilan lang nakakasira dyan, at sana patuloy tayong basbasan ng ating Panginoon Diyos. God bless the Philippines. Thank you very much. Session, George, nakalimutan ko na. Wala, pare. Wala ako eh. Ulit, order naman tayo. O, iwanan nyo ulit para magagalit ako, ha?